So today is the day, and we're going to go and do my final. Well, I don't know if it's the final. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not, but I'm going to go over it and I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on the process because while I've done a few since then, I have not talked that much about drip or about the traditional, conventional investment type things. I'm, not an investment advisor. I'm a life advisor. I'm about what we invest our life in, our attention in. And so it's really about that to the point that we get the best out of, we put the best in, so we get the best out. And I find that when we're in an investment mindset relative to money, those conditions do not apply. And therefore, there's been a point of how to go about communicating with people who are in that mindset and suggesting to them that there is another mindset that gets you everything that you want from that one, but more. Greetings again, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Well, perhaps I'm really thanking you because I've decided to join you. I haven't done a live stream or a stream of any type in a while. Actually, I did put some new content on my site recently. I put all 31 chapters of the Screw Tape Letters on and online, which is really fascinating. It's a book that was published in 1942 by C.S. Lewis, and I think a really fascinating book. And we'll talk about that maybe a little bit, but that wasn't and isn't the reason why I'm doing this today. Some months ago, somewhere in October, I did a video that chronicled my year on the platform known as Drip, the Drip Network. And it's where I've had, you might say, a modicum of some success, if you will, if you're talking specifically in terms of some return on your investment in money, so to speak. And the date of May 8th was significant because on that date, I would be, or I should be, somewhere around that date, I should be maxing my account, my wallet out. And to the point that I could not hydrate, compound anymore. And therefore, I can only now take, so to speak, or receive. Okay. And so today is the day, and we're going to go and do my final. Well, I don't know if it's the final. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not, but I'm going to go over it and I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on the process because while I've done a few since then, I have not talked that much about drip or about the traditional, conventional investment type things. I'm, not an investment advisor. I'm a life advisor. I'm about what we invest our life in, our attention in. And so it's really about that to the point that we get the best out of, we put the best in, so we get the best out. And I find that when we're in an investment mindset relative to money, those conditions do not apply. And therefore, I've there's been a point of how to go about communicating with people who are in that mindset, and suggesting to them that there is another mindset that gets you everything that you want from that one, but more. I'm about the more. So, but what we're going to do is first things first. I actually already turned my background music on. I'm going to turn on my other screen, which is going to make me go down there. And here is drip. Here is, let's see where we are. And because there's some things, we're going to take some inventory of the situation. What has changed since October? Now, in October, I had somewhere around 4,000 drip. And that was cool because I was getting at 1% a day. It meant I was receiving somewhere around 40 drip a day, of which you had the choice to pull it out or to keep it in by rehydrate or by hydrating or compounding, as it is in that parlance, and continue to build it up. Well, I chose to do that. So today, instead of 4,000, since then, I've got 25,600 drip now, on deposit. And the whole idea, and I'm receiving 256 a day. So this 1,400 is probably about 5 days worth. As you can also see, while I have the same amount of direct and indirect from October, because and therefore I have received out of all that 25,872. So not much, relatively speaking. This is mostly on my own, obviously, with some nice little additions from the people that have joined on my recommendation or on my link, so to speak. One of the big and most important factors, one of the most important variables that are to be noted with this is that at that time when I did my year review and drip, one drip costs $7.50. And it had actually been declining from its all-time high, because at its all-time high, which was around January of the beginning of the year, we're talking 2022, that all-time high of one drip was somewhere around, well, just south of $200. Okay, that's what was happening. And so by the time October had come around, it was at $7.50. And if it just stopped retreating, if it just stayed there, by the time I maxed out, oh my goodness, it's going to be really, really nice. So that was then. Today, one drip is somewhere in the neighborhood, is there, and we'll go over here to, I think Swap will show it. It's about 30 cents, if it is that. 27 cents is the price of one drip at this moment in time right now. Now, that's a different thing. 27 cents versus $7.50 versus an all-time high of just south over $190 or so, or roughly speaking, 100 anything. But we're talking the high parts of 100 for a drip. Now, fortunately, so here's the deal. Let me just say these things because this has been a godsend. It's been it served a great purpose. It still does, because the platform itself continues to work. The platform itself for people who are in the mindset, so to speak, of putting something in and getting some value in the conventional way. Now, I realize that drip is not, and defi is not considered conventional, but it's all a matter of context. If you're thinking in terms of investment thinking, it's still conventional, because we focus on the value of the token. So essentially, I can get today, or you can get today, about 27 cents for one drip. On the other hand, you can buy one drip for 27 cents. It's two sides of the same course. If you have them, it's 27 cents if you want to sell them. If you don't have them, but you want to get some, it's 27 cents. And because you can and will actually receive 1% disbursement, a 1% residual from what you have on deposit every day, 24 hours. It accrues right away. Then you can hold your principal and then allow it to drip out to you, which you continue to hold and put in. Now, on the other hand, if you've got, because of the value today of only only I'm saying $6,800 to get you 2,500, and once I do this, maybe we'll see what the max out. This is actually something where some people could max a wallet out and then get 1% a day. Now, on the other hand, and they would not be able to compound. They would not be able to hydrate. If they simply just plopped it in, it would simply just start spitting out 200 some odd a day, and it's a nice little annuity. Now, here's the deal: if the price holds, that's one thing. So as you can see, something that has had an all-time high of just shy of $200, and now it's down sitting at 27. It was 30 cents, but 27 cents. It was 30 cents sometime last week. However, I consider this the pullback before a rush, so to speak, almost like a tsunami. And you have waves going in, coming out, and just before there's a huge coming in, you got this huge pulling back. In this particular case, to the developers' credit, to Forex Sharks' credit, fellow that conceived Drip, and another platform called the Animal Farm, which he's done some amazing work on, and he's worked his way through a number of issues that came up with, while protecting the deposits of the depositors. He has made plans to continue to build on, or build use cases for the Drip token itself. And one of them has to do with a game that's it's DDD, Drip Drop Draw, I believe the name is, which would start generating income through usage, through demand. It stimulates demand for, it brings more capital in. He has also developed a what's called a fiat on ramp to the Animal Farm system. And this is where people can use debit and credit cards to directly acquire the Animal Farm tokens, the dogs and the pigs, which build that ecosystem, which also has a residual value for Drip 2. And these activities will bring more capital into his platform. And with more capital in, that will also increase, especially with these games and some other things that are happening, that'll increase the usage of the Drip token. And therefore, as the usage goes up, the demand for it goes up, the value for the token will go up too. Now, that's a lot of variables. That's a lot of ifs. However, these things are happening. Forex Shark has shown himself one to be a man, I'm going to say of his word, but he follows through with the action. He follows through in the time frame that it that it happens. And if you're asking me, I'd love to this to have happened a long time ago, so that if this was at $1 a piece, or $5 or $7 a piece, it would be hallelujah time for me. It would have been that way for a long time. But the bottom line is, I was going to continue following through and take this to the max, and then go from there. Now, today at these prices, once I see what the max is, it's it's going to be less than $50 a day in value, but that's still 1,500 a month at these values. Now, I'm going to opine at least that this is a low point. This is a great point to come into drip if you're in that mindset. However, I'm also going to talk about the other way, the more that I think exists, and I'll tell you the why. But first, let's do this. I've already got my wallet connected. Let's just jump in and do the hydration, because I'm going to do it and see where it all goes. See what happens. There, let's see. I'm confirming this. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And we'll see where it takes me. You'll see the max payout at 93,000. Boom, compound success. Oh, all right. I'm at 98,674 max payout now. I have 27,000 and 0.034 drip now. That means 270 drips a day I will be receiving. So 270 drip a day, 24-hour. That's a little bit over 10 drip per hour is being made. And the value of my principal at this moment is around $7,000. Now, I will say this, that I started drip with about 300 some odd dollars. And again, as a part of my story too, in the January timeframe of 2022, after a flood, I had already decided, because of the value of the token going up, I was going to go the month of January without compounding. I was going to accrue some funds and then um, use it for other things, not knowing that there was going to be a flood at the beginning of January. And this became a very, very, fortuitous turn of events, where I was basically able to pull out about $20,000 in value to help us to move, to do the logistics and everything else. I had the funds that I needed in order to do that without any stress. So I didn't even wait the entire month. I think it was from the 20th. I did about 20 days into January to pull that out. Well, okay, so that was then. Now, what has basically happened is this: is that it did continue to go down over the course of that year. But my point that I want to make about this is that I only started with about 300. I've taken 20 some odd $1,000 out. Needless to say, the price of each drip was much higher at that point in time. But even as things are today, I have enough value in principle here so as to be pulling out. Once I max, I'll wait another day or so, because at 27, about 3 days, um, I do this again, it will be at over 100,000. It'll get to 100,000. So we will see that point in time. I will do that, at which point in time, everything that comes out will only be, um, I can only claim. There's no more hydrating for this. I will be able to put drip into another wallet, and I can continue that, but I'm going to be pulling this out, so to speak. And of course, hopefully, at some point in time here, uh, we will be we'll be seeing the value of each drip go up, and then that would be super too. So now the point here, and let me move. over to the difference. I stopped talking about drip. I may have said a few things about drip, but I began talking about something else. Man, I started talking about something else, really talking about something else, and it's called co-op. I talked about co-op crowd, and as you can see here, is co-op business is what I'm at least bringing up, and I'm talking about it because this system does not operate under the principles of investment. It's not operate under the principles of making money, so to speak. Making money. There you go. Got to time my quotation marks properly. This is a cooperative principle. This system operates under the principles of cooperation and coordination of activities and unification of behaviors and efficiency. And as such, is when you do a certain activity, when each does a certain activity, each benefits. The focus is not on making money though. The focus is on coordinating your activities in such a way that you do invite people to join this, to join you, and it's a coordination of their joining and their coordination of the timing of them of joining, and then there's reciprocity of what happens. The co-op business system, which David Rosen created, he launched it probably a month or two ago. So this is brand new. It works just like Co-op Crowd that I joined last year. I joined Co-op Crowd. I have stayed active in it, and I have not, as at this moment, done the coordination to the extent that I have 3 people who are active, and whose 3 people that they invited are active too. That means you're really looking for, well, it's not you're looking for, your focus is on 3, but your focus is also on supporting your 3 and they doing it within the same time frame as you do. So this could all be done in one day. This could all be done in a year. It can be done in the time it takes based on the method of each person. And based on my methods and my way and preference in how I choose to present this, I feel at least I'm at a way by which 3 people can see the value of this platform compared to everything else. It's not an either or situation. When about 2,000 people watched that video with Drip, and well, okay, some people said, oh, you should stay with Drip, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Others said, well, I'll look and see what's going to happen with Drip, and then I'll get back with you, etc. But nice work, etc. You should have stayed with this, but no sweat. And some people have actually taken at least the attention and taken a point to watch my videos, to join, to subscribe to my channel and see what's happening. But I am talking about, I am desiring of something else beyond. It's not just that it's about making money. And frankly, it's not even about that. It's about having a sufficient stream of income, having enough to do what you want, when you want to do it, no matter what it costs. That is what this is about. This is a different way of thinking, because you start seeing, I want to give you an example. I receive all kinds of invitations for lines of credit. But what is a line of credit? It is an extension of debt. It is an extension of indebtedness. And it's only viable if you don't have a sufficient supply of income so that you don't need it. So, first of all, I don't want more indebtedness. I want a sufficient inflow. I want a sufficient supply. Now, the truth is, for what drip did in my time frame, it didn't create that. People are in the same mindset of perpetual insufficiency of inflow. So, because frankly, in order to get the value out of drip, you have to sell the asset. Okay. You have to convert that asset into something. If you have your animal farm, if you have Bitcoin, you're selling the asset. You're still giving up, you're backing forth. Someone is buying it. It's a binary type system where someone is buying, someone is selling. And then we, the people who don't know this stuff well enough, we are looking at the value of the token and not realizing that we are the ones who create the value for the token. We are the value creators who tend not to create value for themselves, not to hold some value for themselves, not to value themselves or value others. If we're always spending our time in binary mode, we are good to you're evil, whoever that evil is, or they're looking at us as we're evil to their good, you're always going to be, unless you consider yourself the villainous type, most people are literally, and you take some joy out of somehow victimizing others or looking for others that you can victimize, because the truth is, to do such a thing is really an act of cowardice for the person that would do that. Someone who would take force in some kind of way to try to take or coerce value from someone else who maybe knows less or whatever it is, but they may have more stuff or they may appear to have more stuff. These are acts of cowardice. And, in the typical binary idea of money and investment and other things that are associated with that level of thinking, that's what that's doing. We don't make the world a better place from that way of thinking. So how do we make the world a better place? I want to make the world a better place. I want to make my world a better place. And one thing is that we are an entire human society that is united for all practical purposes in not having enough of an income flow to get the things that we want that are important to us done. And interestingly enough, the people who are managing those or standing as gatekeepers or somehow sentries, so to speak, as managing those systems, whether it's the monetary system, whether it's the medical system, whether it's the education system, whether it's government, military, all of those things, they appear to have plenty. So you got plenty coming in for them, but who is the creator of the plenty? It's you and I. All right. And so, but we're sitting with not enough to do what we want when we want to do it, no matter what it costs. So then you got the others or some, and I'm not making this an us versus them, because they have their buttons too. Everyone has some buttons. But ultimately, who's pushing whom's? Okay, is the question. Who are we allowing to push our buttons to the point that we push or allow ourselves to be pushed around against our own common sense and best interest, or something that we want to do in life, we put aside, or we even stop worrying about it because we're so busy accustomed to being on a gerbil wheel, going nowhere, but we're running and making someone else's system work with no reciprocity, no in-kind return to us. So reciprocity and in-kind return, drip and whatever there is like it, are a way in that direction. But this system here, co-op business, being cooperative, is more efficient at what it does. Its objective is not per se, it doesn't work by the money you bring in. It works by the connections that you make in inviting others to join you. And then I'll tell you about what you do. Okay. Now, so first of all, looking at the system, to what extent this will say, I love what the developer, David Rosen, has created here, because the principle I'm on and with in total support. So this is the interface. The story about why to do this, being a business owner, I just will say, doesn't mean anything to me. Okay. What this system does is what is meaningful to me. However, and it means something to the developer. So I'm happy for him. Okay. I'm working with another group. It's called Smarter Than Money, and you will see and have seen it in some of our presentations, or some of my presentations, Greg Baldwin. And I'll tell you about some of the reasons why this is valuable for other reasons. But I'm showing the site itself because this is brand new. The two doable steps, and I say brand new, I'm talking about in the last 7 days from right now, today. Two doable steps are basically the same. Join, first of all, and you activate your site. He talks about 38, or this, again, this is where we differ, okay? We have the ability to differ in our approach, but ultimately you join on someone's invitation link. So my invitation link is up there, and I'm not putting it down below. I want you to contact me directly because I got something else in mind, and I'll just talk about this shortly. But what you're going to do is you join it and you fund. So when you fund, you're sending an amount into the co-op system. Okay. And you're going to do this in cryptocurrency. Everything is expressed here in dollars, but we're talking about a value of this in equivalents in cryptocurrency, from Ethereum, USDT, USDC, Bitcoin. You can put it doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't matter. It'll take even BNB. I don't think it'll take drip, but you know what you can do in order to get that. The second thing that you need to do, once you have that happening and you have your three, the second thing is that you support your three in doing exactly what you do. In other words, you support your three in getting their three. So you will have three that are directly connected to you, from which you will receive income. You will receive crypto value back from each person that you invite. When they put that amount in, they are actually sending an amount of value to you and 9 others. So in other words, to 10 people. So every co-op business member is taking some crypto value. I call them negotiable value assets. And they are putting this into the system. Now, drip does not provide reciprocity. And I'm saying this is not a knock against it. It has dependencies. And the dependencies, everything has dependencies. Life has dependencies. I'm sitting here 9 months or longer or whatever in co-op this system. and I have not done the situation that we're talking about, having three active and then helping their three to be active at the same time. So those are dependencies. Until you do that, uh, have I made money, so to speak? Have I earned? Yes, and I've earned on an ongoing basis. However, when you have your three that are active, excuse me, that are active, and your three have three, you've got 12 who are active at the same time. That trips a condition that's in the system that opens up an additional 25% of income. But in addition to that, it trips multiple or deeper levels of application in terms of connecting to those levels of wallets. There is a limit. When you send out when you make a deposit into the system is distributing it to 10 people according to their levels of activity or inactivity, etc. Okay, connection and interconnection. But still, it's going out to 10 people, irrespective. Okay, 10 people are going to receive. However, your next step is to be inviting three people and then to support those three in inviting their three so that you have a first level that is active and then your second level is active. Your first two levels are active, which means you've got 12 people who are active. When that happens, there's no more money out your pocket, period. And everyone who is joining, they're doing the same thing. They're putting now, in our case, this $38 is for simply buying just simply one token or obtaining, because this is an ongoing every 28 days. And see, this is not it's not $38 every 28 days. Well, actually, it would be that. However, for this system to work and to get the benefit that you want out of it, you need three people to do it. But you can join with as few as one. Okay, so $38 is where a person can join. However, they're going to still need to have three people who are active, at which point in time, they're certainly getting their $38 back. But the next step is to have those three that they invited to also have their three. So the developer has made it, quite frankly, so that no one can give themselves an excuse of not being able to afford doing this. But ultimately, you need to be of a certain mindset. It's not about the affordability as much as it is about the mindset. And so the point is, when you have three, and if you start with three, you're going to not put 38 bucks in. You're going to be putting in actually somewhere around $127, $99 plus some change, but it'll be about $127. And or 300 something, and that comes out to somewhere under 400. Those are your numbers. That's where you're buying or obtaining these three tokens so that you can invite your three people. And therefore, if you put the larger amount in, it's going to actually put you into a second pool, which provides you with the same not the same. It'll provide you literally with 10 times what you received from the first. It will provide you with two disbursements for everyone who also puts that second larger amount in, because you're in a second liquidity pool and you will receive 10 times the first, and you get them both. So every time that if you put in the three, let's say it's a 318 or whatever the number comes out to be, and I can show you what it should be because my 318 at the moment is not active. I'm going to log in. So I need to activate my co-op, my 280 cooperative. And let me see what that amount is. If I were going to activate it, I'm going to produce an invoice so I see what the amount is I need to do. If I click on that, and you can see I don't need. So if you were just joining with the $28 a day, as they say, you would need 3 tokens, which this defaults to, and 3 NFTs. That is what you would need, and the amount would be somewhere around $100 plus a network fee. And if I clicked on that, it would tell me what that amount is. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to click that. I'm going to click this off. I'm going to click this off. And so on this basis, if I were getting just the the co-op 280, then let's see. I would pay using the co-op wallet. There you go. See, I was wondering, it's like down below those numbers weren't adding up, but all I was needing was the co-op 280 token. And once I went through it, here are the fees. It's $291.84 of value. You can see that here's USDT tether. This is what it defaults to. But you can use anything else. You've got any of these on this list, you can fund it with any of these. If they're put in Ethereum, you see the fees go up just a little bit more, Tether's a little less, and then you go through the process of funding. That's how you do it, and this is what I would need to buy, etc. Now, let's talk a little bit about what would, I'm going to stop that at this moment. One of the things that makes this system, to me, is important is the co-op wallet. This wallet is unique. It is a custodial wallet. This is what you're depositing your funds into. I got just a few tokens in there right now. I can see I've got $46 in there at the moment. You can look down and see your transactions. You can see how these things all work. It tracks all of these things. It's doing this all the time. And you can see your active team. Look, maybe I've got 2 that are active right now. So I've got 2 out of the 3 who are active right now. The next part is I need to get a 3rd who is active now, and then also help these my 3 to get their 3 who are active right now. I'm going to talk about that soon. Now, the point basically is this: and here it keeps track of the days. It keeps track of. There's a timer that's coming down, and it counts down every day. And the point is, you have 28 days by which to use the token. When you purchase a token, or when you make a deposit and you obtain tokens, your tokens are used for one of 2 purposes. They are used to connect to your 3 others who are going to do exactly what you did. They're going to buy 3 tokens or 4 tokens. The 4th token would be the co-op 280 token. That would be the one that would put me into a second pool, a 10x pool. And so when I activate this one, I will be active in a 10x pool. So there essentially are 2 networks, if you will, 2, they call them crowd stages, and they are 100% liquid. If you have funds in it, you play, and within the time frame, and if you don't, you don't. It's very binary. It's very specific. And I was talking about the wallet. The co-op wallet has, it's got the buzzwords. It's a Web3 wallet. It is what you put your funds into. You convert your crypto, you put that into. It disperses to the 10 people, the person who invited you plus 9 others. And the next part is that you are receiving your 3 or 4 tokens. That puts you into uh, the co-ops, so to say, the cooperatives, the funds, because these are totally liquid funds. And basically this, every time someone joins and funds, in other words, puts a deposit in, you receive, I receive if I invited you, and then 8 other people would receive. When the people that you invite do the same thing, or should I say, when the people that they invite that you invite do the same thing, then their inviter receives, you receive, I receive, and 7 others. Now, what we are doing is using the tokens to, uh, there's a place down there, the co-op token. So this is a place where you buy the tokens, and you're using the tokens to create the, the avenues of return, of reciprocity. So essentially, you are putting some funds in, and you are coordinating the activities of other people who are going to do exactly what you did. And when you do that, when you succeed in doing that, when you succeed in 3, when you succeed and you help them succeed in getting their 3, because you're also teaching them how to help others and how to help their 3 get their 3. We are passing on the behavior. And because the behaviors are far more focused, the amounts that are being put in are specific. The time frame is specific. There's a window by which this works, and then you go outside of this window, it doesn't work. You want it to work again, well, you put some funds back in. Okay? It's very, very specific. It's not a lot of the other things that have so many variables. It's not where someone who has 10 or 20,000 or 100,000 or $1 million, they pop in and they immediately jump and or they're in a position where they're getting much more out of the system than you are. It was really nice when even at $7, I could look forward to what would happen when my system maxed out because I knew the system itself would work out. But there were so many dependencies. They're dependent on sufficient amount of capital coming into the system from other people. And so if you got a whole bunch of people are sitting waiting and not enough capital coming in to compensate for this, then it's going to have a slow reduction in value. It's not big. The system works. This is unto itself. If I were simply in investment thinking, it's a super system. Yet it's still dependent on enough people who are wanting what it does. And first of all, they're looking at what they can get from their present system, which is way less. And this is a great step forward. However, co-op business in this case is indifferent to the amount of money you have. You can see here, he outside, you got to put something out to get something back. That's a law of the universe. Whatever you put out comes back to you. Now, how well, how quickly, how efficiently it comes back is the question. Or whether it comes back in the way you had in mind is another story. I certainly, with what I experienced with Drip, I knew what I had in mind. It hasn't come back that way. And yet the system itself, I've got no complaints. The system itself works. Okay. It's about the dependencies of the system. In the case of co-op business, the dependencies are more on me than they are on the system. In the case of Drip and others, and we can talk about a lot of others that have come and gone. I'm happy that Drip is here and it has persisted. Okay. But ultimately, the efficacy of myself the efficacy of it working is more dependent on myself. How I say it, how I talk about it, because I could simply be about the funds and say, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, nothing else will come along, etc. It's not necessary. Quite frankly, it's more important that I have confidence in myself. It's more important that I keep the vision alive, one within myself and also within my actions. And it's also, for me at least, it's more important to talk about the more. Money unto itself is not a solution, certainly not the best one. It's not the most important thing. Having a sufficient amount of supply of value that you can turn into money is important. And if I were placing a vote on a future, the future would have it so that first of all, if we're still using some type of negotiable asset exchange system, okay, that's all money is. It's a negotiable asset exchange vehicle. All right. And so if we are doing that, and I'll say this, while the people that run the present system and this present system is collapsing, I could put up a graphic that shows how the present system, the present value of the US dollar, for example, has continued to decline. The management, and I won't even say the mismanagement, the management of the values of where they choose to put the value that you created is different. You create the value, someone else is managing it, and we think the value is in the stuff, and therefore they put it into destroyers, they put them into aircraft carriers, they put them into airplanes that each cost hundreds of millions of dollars a piece, that into bombs and missiles that cost $1 million a piece. You talk about $1 million bullets, and they're being made like there's no tomorrow. Interesting point to say, when in fact they do what they can to give the potential of there being no tomorrow. That's a fact of the matter, that there will be a tomorrow, because there is a now. All that exists is now. And so my point basically is this: in my now, I seek, I create, I support the creation of a way by which to create sufficient inflow so that I don't need loans. I get emails from people, from companies. Oh, send me your information. You're pre-approved for this. You're pre-approved for that. What is the approval for? The pre-approve, and that's really a carrot for you to send you the information so they can decide if they want to take a risk on you. I'm tired. Excuse me, I'm not tired of it. I'm simply not going to do it anymore. I'm not interested in someone's invitation for me to owe them. Okay? I want enough because I've created a way to have enough. And this cooperative system is just a system. It's, you can do drip. I can do drip. I won't stop it per se. But the point, the one thing is, you can receive enough on this system that, a group of us can get in enough to help others and just put the capital in, because through our cooperative, coordinated, and coherent activity, we each have enough coming in, and the amounts are in the 6 and 7 figures, and it's a flow that comes every 28 days. So I said this without completing the thought. I said that what you put in goes to 10 people. With the tokens, you are literally creating the flow in return, reciprocal return on your effort, not on your investment, but on your effort of energy. Your energy is worth way more than the dollars you are typically getting from virtually anything that we are putting stuff into. Your energy is worth more than that. However, when we put our energy into something that someone else has defined, typically speaking, then the possibilities are limited to how that person created it. And of course, there's also those many projects that have come and gone, and some of them are really large. We talk about the, what is it, the FTX situation that came up. Uh, you know, that drained a whole bunch of people's capital. It also drained a whole bunch of confidence in the crypto space. It created a whole bunch of reticence, which is exactly what the people who did it and put it on had in mind. The thing about the co-op wallet, see, I got to finish the thought. So you put out the 10, you set up this up, you have your 3, and then your 3 have 3, you have 12. But those second 3, the 3 on the 9 on the outer, they are now beginning their process, and now there's 27 new invitations going out, and there's 3 people on that are coming on each of those. They're not your responsibility, they're the responsibility of the people who invited them. So it's their opportunity now to get their 3 going. But now the next step is there are 81 that are going out, and then there is 243 going out, and then there is 729 going out. See, and all of those, I say going out, they're all pointing back to you, to me in this case. Let's talk about, for example, but if as it happens, it to each of us, to you as well as to me, and for in this case to people behind me, so to speak. When you go to 729, your next is 2,187 that are going out, all still coming back to you, and still including me too. In this case, they'll be part of who is coming through me, or at least to me. After the 2,187, now you get 6,561. And from there, you got 19,683. And then on the 10th level, 10th generation, there is 59,049 people. So when you add all of those up, it's 88,572 people who are connected to your wallet when it matures. Okay, who are connected to my wallet when it matures. When all we got to do is get our 3, invite our 3, and then help them to invite theirs. And I say help. How are you going to help them? Well, maybe you're going to show them this video. If a person wants it well enough, they'll listen, because I've been talking for almost an hour, and I'm saying, we have years, we have decades, we have generations of thinking the way we've been thinking about money, and we have all that time of habits that we have been expending, so to speak, relative to it, generally of not having enough of it to do the things we want to do when we want to do it. And when we are dialing in the people that we send money to, we're increasingly sending it to them on a program basis. We're doing it, sign up for automatic pay, sign up for automatic pay. We're doing this all along. That's setting up their security. Oh, they do it automatically as long as we have enough in. And sometimes if we don't even have enough in, they're going to get it anyway and put our accounts in the red, unless we have enough going on where there's a sufficient flow. There's no other system that does this. Well, actually there is, because the co-op crowd system did it from the beginning, and it still does. We moved over to co-op business because it is really the developers' passion to do this, and we love to be aligned with that. Ultimately, it's about creating this flow, and in addition to it, it's about creating it in a way that is available to you, is available without intrusion, unnecessary, unwanted intrusion. It creates a flow that is indifferent to fluctuations in the value of cryptos. You send in the value that's translated into dollars, and whatever that value is in dollars at that time, if you're using stablecoin, that's one thing. But if it doesn't matter. That's what that has you active. But your performance is based on the connections you make for one thing and sustain to the point that you have a sufficient flow begun. So having your three and your three having three at 12 starts your flow. It starts the sufficiency. And as the 27 go out, as the 81 go out, and as the buzz about cooperate, the power of cooperation grows, where people will now start looking for someone who is a part of this so that they can receive an invitation to do this. This begins to be easier and easier. This becomes simpler and simpler. It becomes faster and faster. This is the power of cooperation, where more and more people have enough. They don't have to borrow, but they have sufficient to go out and get whatever they want, whenever they want, no matter how much it costs. Now, there are more opportunities to on-ramp. There are, in terms of changing, there are many places and platforms where um, you can convert your crypto into fiat, or let's see if I can think of this real uh, fast. Well, maybe it's not going to happen fast. It'll come to me. I was thinking about here. I do have it. This is one site, for example. I'll just show it to you real fast. This is called On Juno Finance. This is something that is like a bank. However, your crypto payments, they will issue a virtual MasterCard, and your crypto that you have on deposit to them becomes how you can use your MasterCard. Okay, things are changing. I heard about something else, and Spritz Finance. Pay your bills with crypto. This is what's happening. If you have a stream of crypto coming in, you will be able to use those crypto to pay your bills. Okay, and the thing is more important to have enough, to have the stream coming in, to create the stream, than simply doing things the way we have been doing and hoping that the value is there. One of the other benefits of the cooperative system of co-op business is that it really, I'm just putting it there so you can see it, okay? It makes you scam proof. I've done things where I've allowed my wallets to be drained, and they're gone. I'm just going to tell you, when you create those three and your three have three, and now they're moving, and sure, you can invite more than three. And the thing is, if you invite them, you need to help them get their three. So you see, you can be earning way, way more And again, I'm not even mentioning what the amounts are. You can watch my playlist that talks about the co-op crowd, and you can see the numbers there. Or you can also watch the presentations. I can also invite you to a presentation. As you understand that there is something more important simply than making money, and that there's a way to quote unquote receive funds. You can put the monies that you put into the value that you put into co-op system, into that wallet, when you add your efforts, when you add your stick to itiveness, your persistence, and I mean in your patience, when you add your faith, your confidence within yourself. I mean, I've stayed active. I've paid when I didn't have enough to cover. I've put the amounts in to stay active for one thing, but it gives me an opportunity to receive. I'm looking for three people. That's all I need who are just like me in that respect. And when I talk about your automatic payments um, to people you owe bills to, whether they're mortgage amounts, whether they are your cars. I'm looking at the just this past week. I'd have to find that particular um, window. I'm kind of looking for it, even while we're at this. But I'm not. I'm just going to mention it. No, I'm going to show it to you because there it is. Average auto loan payments. What to expect in 2023? And here we're talking about for many Americans, the cost to finance a vehicle can be one of the biggest hits to their wallets each month outside of housing costs. On the average, drivers are spending over 700 and 500 each month for new and used vehicles, respectively, according to Experience fourth quarter automotive finance report. Insurance costs on average $2,014 a year. And these are the averages. Uh, there's a video I watched here, and that video was showing that for something other than a quote unquote average car, the car note is like it over $1,000 a month. So here you're looking at 1,000 a month, and that's for the car. If the car is that amount, what are the houses? This is a way that you can, whether it's for the 100 that you put in for the 3 tokens, whether it's for the 300 some odd dollars for the 4 tokens, meaning the 3 tokens plus being in that 10x pool. For that plus a persistence to invite other people to do the same thing, and to do it in a timely manner. Don't do what I did. Don't do it the way I did it. This is a case of doing what I say, not as I did. But you're going to do it according to how you see doing this. It is, if you're listening to this whole time, maybe you're the one to do this, but it's for you to decide. If you decide you want to give yourself an opportunity to do it, you make the decision because you are going to do it. You're going to put the funds in. You are also going to stick with it to invite your three because it helps you, of course. But ultimately, if those three are as dedicated to their improvement as you are to yours, then everyone's going to win. And it's not going to take months. This can be done in a matter of a week's time. It can be done in a day's time or a few days' time for each person. And so you'll see the presentations where in 10 weeks' time, if and assuming that everyone has entered and invited their 3, it means that all of those levels fill out for each who does it, say, within a 7-day period. Then in 10 weeks' time, you're at somewhere around $175,000 every 28 days. And 2 weeks later, you're maxed out, so to speak, at almost or somewhere around $10 million every 28 days. This is the power of coordinated, coherent, cooperative activity. And it's available to anyone who does those 2 steps, which are not directed and centered around how much money you have. This is why has been worth talking about more so, even if drip was at $10, even if drip was at $1,000, I would still be. It would not be as efficient. It would not also be as accessible in terms of the value that you get. Oh, don't get me talking about my experience on the drip garden in terms of putting that in, because I started with $100 there. I've got so many millions of seeds, but the seeds aren't worth much of anything. So it hasn't kept track, so to speak. Now I could be into the other things, into the other parts of the drip system, and I love it. It's not either or. It's just where I prefer, where there's greater value to be received, and there's greater value to be received when it takes less effort to do these things, for one thing, and it's ongoing. Once you have your 3 and your 3 have 3, you have those 12 active, you're covering the basic amount that does come out of your wallet every 28 days. And so if you have, for example, the 10x as well, that's 300 some odd $18 coming out your wallet every day, every 28 days, which the co-op system will automatically do the deducting. However, the funds that come into your wallet as a result of this are available to you at any time. All you do is you use 2-factor authentication and into your wallet, and you do what you want with it every 28 days. This is why it's recession proof. That's why it is bull and bear market proof. That is why it is even hack proof, because if we are unaware enough to let someone to give people the keys to our wallet, which I have been, and they get drained, you then go into, okay, excuse me, cut that off, redirect your funds to another wallet ID, and guess what? It starts filling up again. Wow. Can you imagine that happening for you? Could you imagine doing some activities that give you the possibility that this flow happens as more people, anywhere they are on the planet, it maxes out. Okay, my co-op, not my co-op, my drip account for this wallet will max out at 100,000 drip at whatever value the drip is. In the co-op system, it maxes out at a dollar amount, period. Okay, tokens, whatever its value versus dollar amount. And the fact of the matter is, when you're at about 2% of the dollar amount of the potential in the co-op system, your life has already changed. You're making a whole bunch of funds. Okay, every 28 days, and it continues to grow. So I think that's what I want to say for now. I will do another video now when to finish off, because the next time I do this, I'll wait a couple of days. Doesn't matter. They'll accrue, and then next time it'll be the maxing out on my Drip wallet ID, and then I'll spend a little time taking up and accruing that because even well at 30, $50 a day, that's $1,500 a month that can come in. But it's going, but then too, it's going to that's going to go out. So it is my hope that the drip, drop, draw, and what other uh, platforms, other systems they come on, and yes, that it brings more income and more capital in. But again, three of you or one of you, you know who you are and when that'll be. I'm going to ask you to contact me. If you're interested in co-op business, join me. Let us fund. And the thing that I want to do, let you fund. I'm funded. I'm going to be in it anyway. But I'm inviting you to join me. Stay in drip. Stay in Animal Farm. That's not a bad thing. It's a wonderful thing. It is an improvement. This is far, far more efficient. It's not requiring that much at all. So let us see for yourself. I'd like reliable people, confident people, aware enough about the crypto space. Simply use my invitation link and join and fund. And then let us bring your three people. Let's get on a meeting. Let's get on a Zoom. Let's talk and help them to join as well. And the truth of the matter is, let's do this. And I say these calls are happening all the time. David Rosen puts his own calls out. Um, Greg Baldwin puts his own calls out, and I'm on them, especially his locker room on Saturdays. It's a great call. It's a great community that he has created. I have my way of describing this. I'm doing this for those reasons. This It's not either or. My reasons include the reasons for making money. But if you've seen anything that I've done, for example, on my map of consciousness, this is about something else. This is about improving things on a wider spectrum. It includes the value part of it, but the value is you. The value is me. We are the value. The stuff is not the value. We make the value. And so let's have some of that value come back to us. This is a system that directs the value you put in back to you. And I'm basically, and yes, it's worth $300 a month for that matter, if I can handle it. I can handle the 100 something a month easier, but it's not even that. It's only once you start it, it's the 100 something to start to get the 3 tokens, or it's 400 amount to start to get the 4 tokens. But on a regular monthly basis, is either $28 or it's $308 per month to stay active in both pools. Now, I could just forget about the second one. Right now, for me, it's easier just to do the $28 every 28 days. But I'm making enough, generally speaking, to do it, or I will buy 3 tokens, and then you're getting 28 days for every token, $1 a day. That's what that's all about. So please contact me. I put an email address. I'm going to put it on here because since I'm not doing this live, I'll edit things as I want to, and I'll display an email address and contact me. I'll be happy to contact, or respond to you. You can contact me at Facebook. I'm on Gab. I'm on MeWay. I'm on Parlor. You can look me up. And I'm not all that active. I haven't been all that active. I am going to get more active on my map of consciousness because this is an act of consciousness we're talking about. We are one, we are interconnected, and we are all living conscious beings. And so, therefore, we are conscious. Okay. So, this is about exercising our conscious power. Okay. And that's important too, because we want everything to get better, not simply making more money and then being vulnerable and staying in the mindset of us versus them, where we have to be on guard because now we have and they don't. See, that to me isn't satisfactory. It's not satisfying. So that's it. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being present. Thank you for caring. And until next time, I'll just say peace. Be well. Be prosperous. Be in touch, okay? And I love you all. Nice. Take care, guys.